Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Sofia University's Doctor of Business Administration info session. My name is Rachel, and I'm the admission counselor here at Sofia. I'm here today with my colleagues as well as the DBA program chair, who I will introduce in just a moment. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will start our info session with the introduction of our DBA program chair, who will then give a slide presentation and will answer student questions. Please feel free to type your questions in the chat and we will keep track of those and answer them all together at the end. Now let's begin our introductions. I would first like to introduce our esteemed program chair, Dr. Mary Kay Chess. Dr. Chess comes to this academic leadership engagement after extensive experience as an executive and entrepreneur in urban and rural healthcare system and multi-state networks. She has encouraged collaboration of very diverse internal administrative and clinical stakeholders, external partners, and community members. Dr. Chess has continually invited practical innovation through system thinking and intentional development of conscious leaders. She is a sought-after national speaker on adaptive and innovative leadership engagement, system thinking, and complexity. As a chair, professor, and lifelong learner, she encourages creative and critical thinking, responsive, partially right solutions to thorny challenges, and laughter on this journey of constant changes where we together learn and create the emerging future. Welcome to this exploration of next steps in your continued learning and leadership. I will now hand the floor to Dr. Chess.
Rachel, thank you so much. And thank you all for being here. We realize that some of you will be sharing dinner with us, and that's just fine. We're just grateful that you are here to think about with us about what the world needs for the next leaders. So as we go over our DBA program, our Doctorate in Business Administration here at Sofia, I'm going to give you some questions to think about in these 4 areas. What's it time for now? Why might it be time for you to consider a DBA? How do you go about the process of thinking and discerning about what's next for you and if it is a DBA? And then the final question is going to be when? When are you going to activate this next step in your personal journey and development as a leader? I have, as Rachel said, a number of slides that I'll go through that will give you both a technical overview, but it will also, more importantly, ask you some pretty pointed questions for you to think about as you're in this deciding time of what's next for you. So as promised, we're going to start first with the what. So I'm often asked, and our mission team that you see here we're often asked, so what's a DBA? A Doctorate of Business Administration. Well, it actually has a very old history here in the United States. In the 1920s, it was really given birth at Harvard, although it was called something else. But the intent was to apply the research and knowledge in a very timely and practical manner so that business could make use of research immediately. So that's the genesis back in 1920 and still going strong. The Doctor of Business Administration programs also have two purposes, or at least this is how I think about it, and see what you think. First of all, a DBA allows, as I said a moment ago, to contribute to business theory, thorny issues in business, complexity in business, and to further develop the professional practice of what does it mean to be a leader, what does it mean to have global teams, what does it mean to be a participant on the platform of global challenges. DBA candidates, and this is part of our admission process, which you'll hear in a few moments, usually have significant experience in business. So they're usually mid-level or executives, depending on the size of the company, and they're usually in roles with demanding leadership requirements. Along with a PhD, which is often the more familiar terminal degree in the United States, the DBA actually represents the highest academic qualification in the field of business administration. So that just kind of sets context for you. It's an old degree. It's a degree, however, that's getting a lot of traction lately. And it's something that we at Sofia feel very strongly that it's time to offer this. So let's move on now and think about, we heard a little bit about the what is the DBA. Let's think a little bit about why a DBA and why you might want to consider it and why you're on the call with us tonight. So I don't think that this next slide surprises anyone. We're really in a what's called a VUCA world, and most of you probably know that that stands for volatile, complex, uh, uh, demanding, and endless challenges. So there's a lot of moving parts in our world today. These boxes that show climate challenges, AI opportunities, virus and population equity, all of these and much, much more look like they're separate challenges. But all of us in business know that the truth is all of these complex challenges interface and interconnect. Very few of them are independent. And that means if we think about why a DBA or a next step for you in your personal development and your leadership development, it's because the issues are complex. They're global in nature. They don't have one easy answer. In fact, they usually have 4 or 5 partially right answers, or they have opportunities that we haven't even seen yet. So this particular program here at Sofia really begins to explore research-based practical application to solve and address in good company many of these complex challenges. So let me pause there a moment and give you a chance to think about where have you seen complexity? Where have you seen multiple challenges without a clear response? So let's talk about what are the opportunities. Thank you for pausing there and thinking. Sometimes when we move so quickly through the challenges and we move so quickly through the opportunities that are in front of you, we don't have time to think about, so where do I play in this field of opportunities and challenges? And so we wanted to spend a little bit of time telling you about some of the challenges that we know are identified and that have been worked on sometimes for 10, 20, 30 years, but we know that the change that's taking place is incremental. It's transitional. It's not yet transformational. So some of you may look at the Sustainable Development Goals that actually come out of the UN, the 17 partnerships for the goals, and think about, well, how could I possibly address number one, no poverty, when there's incredible migration and immigration movements all over the world, not necessarily always connected with poverty, but taking people away from homes where they're comfortable and where they're knowledgeable and inviting them to move to countries and lands that may not be familiar. Education, quality education for everyone, anywhere where you are. And we can go through these 17 UN goals. And as we think about those, as we think about the possibility of clean water, the possibility of working together for continued climate solutions, the possibility of addressing some of the viruses that have been unleashed even past COVID, that was so rampant in 2020 and 2021 and 2022. These are the opportunities that are in front of us. They're global challenges, and that's where Sofia has put its energy and perspective about preparing the next set of leaders who will be dealing even more with these opportunities and challenges. There's one difference as you consider and think about the why are you spending time with us tonight? Why are you thinking about a DBA? Part of Sophia's history, and I think it's always important to think about the issues in terms of where did they come from? What gave birth, for example, to a Sophia University? Sophia has a 50-year history of immersion in transpersonal psychology. And that, for those of you who are not in the psychology field but are in business, let me tell you just a little bit about the implications for embedding transpersonal psychology into business. In the first place, we're talking about what it means to be conscious, what it means to bring our whole self to the work, what it means to bring not only our mental capacity, but, excuse me, our compassion and our ability to encourage flourishing in the middle of these challenges. It really is possible. And so, this focus and this expertise in this world of psychology, transpersonal in particular, really embeds and gives us this sort of um, different perspective on business. It's much more than technical reports, although those are critical in business. It's not only the what we do, it's the how we do it. It's the how we think about the issues. It's business as unusual. And how are we contributors, conscious contributors of this? One of my favorite tools to talk about is the iceberg. And many of you have probably seen that, or you can envision an iceberg. And at the very top of the water, just peeking out from the waves that are hiding an entire iceberg, is this very, very tiny pinnacle of an iceberg. And that's what we really know about ourselves. Most of us, unless we've been really focused and engaged on development. But think about the capacity to lower that water and to bring up more of our consciousness about how we contribute in our world, how we uniquely look at opportunities and challenges and think about how to solve those. That's the infusion of transpersonal psychology into business as unusual. So that's part of what you're going to hear about as I talk about the discernment process in this program. So let's move on from the what is a DBA and why should you think about it now, and why in particular might you want to think about Sofia's DBA. And by the way, we encourage you to compare programs because you're looking for something that really mirrors what you need in the world. So why should a DBA matter to you? And let's start with the value proposition. Um, when we talk about the development of conscious business leaders, those leaders who are compassionate, they're courageous, they're ready and willing to deal with complex issues. They're interested in using the tools of academia to really do the research about promising practices and to figure out, often in learning communities or with mentors and business advisors, about what are real world solutions, what might work. I've talked a lot about the courage of leaders and the support that we give here at Sofia. The value proposition here in dealing with complex issues is this: we expect, we anticipate, and we encourage you to fail. Now that sounds strange, but we really do. What we're doing here in this terminal degree is we're offering space supported by incredible faculty, mentors, incredible student peers, business advisors, speakers that come to us and are sharing their perspective and knowledge of the world. We want and invite all of our students to be taking these ideas and to really think about what they could pilot, what they learn from pilots, and then how does that embed itself into real world solutions, real world actions. So that's the value proposition of a DBA. It's practical, it's based in academics, and it brings together the business thinking and leadership that's essential for these complex issues. So the next thing that we'd like you to think about, and I've alluded to it a couple of times, is how does transpersonal psychology really support and encourage change makers? And I'd like you to think for just a moment about the most significant change that you've seen in your work environment over the past month. Most significant change. And I'd like you to think about how you responded to that change. Were you the initiator? Were you the resistor? Were you the ponderer? You were able to come up with kind of this works, this doesn't work? Or were you a bystander? As we think about what might emerge in the 3 years of the DBA, these are very much the areas of focus. What does it mean to change? What does it mean to transition? What does it mean for transformation? What does it mean to be a legitimate change maker? And again, you're going to hear the words courage and complexity and compassion, those 3 C's. So this unique DBA program really prepares you to fail, to learn, to do so in good company with your peers. And we hope, it's been our experience so far, that we also share laughter about these failures because you're doing it in safe space. You're doing it in space that encourages that incubation of innovation and disruption. The last item I'd like you to think about in this section of, why a DBA at this point is this consideration of lifelong learning. If we live in a complex world, and if we've had some of those thorny issues that I showed you, just a few moments ago from the 17 UN goals, it doesn't sound as though we're going to have solutions, perfect solutions for those challenges or other challenges that emerge in the near future. It's going to take time. And so even though the DBA here at Sofia is a 3-year program of 54 credits, and at the end you have 2 products, you don't have a dissertation, but you do have a project assessment and you do have a leadership assessment of the global challenge that you're going to address. We want you to graduate from this program with a network of other change makers, faculty, business advisors, mentors, peers, those that you have met who maybe are contrarian to your point of view. We want you to leave with that network, and we want you to leave with a passion for lifelong learning. These complex issues are going to be with us. We hope and we believe that through this program, we're preparing you for change. And we hope that you continue to learn about what's possible and pass it on. There's a legacy here that after you graduate from this program that you're able to offer. So let's move on and keep in mind the question that I posed to you. So what change have you seen at work in the last month? What role did you play? And the question now is, what role could you have played if you had had more time to invest in yourself, more time to invest in some of the theories and the research that's been done on possible solutions? Could you have shifted being a bystander or being a mover or being an instigator or a ponderer as part of your change preference, is what we call it? So here is the kind of the more technical nature of our DBA here at Sofia. I've mentioned before that we're looking for global business leaders. And so we're looking for those individuals who are willing to have a very broad perspective. If you're not yet involved in global issues, you certainly have global impacts in in your current business. Whether they're intrinsic or extrinsic, you are having an impact from global activities around our world. We're looking for executives, mid-level or above, who are prepared to develop their own leadership with very candid and supportive feedback. We focus, because of the transpersonal nature of our business, in what's working for you. We use something called appreciative inquiry. It was the AI before AI, but it really allows you to think about, where are my strengths and how might I continue to build on those? And then how might I build a network of those with unique strengths that complement mine so that we can make a difference? And then you've heard me talk about courageous and compassion and complexity. So we're really looking for scholars who don't mind being courageous, who are able to look at the academic literature with help from faculty and business advisors and draw from different fields, because that's often where we find answers. So as you step back and think about this experience that might evolve from Sofia, you're thinking about global business leaders, you're thinking about a rigorous leadership development plan, and you're thinking about engaging in research and practical application. Excuse me, just a moment. Thank you. Okay. So here I've listed just a couple of the features of our DBA program. And at the end, as Rachel said, we'll open it up for questions that you have. So we make sure that we're answering things that are top of mind for you tonight. But here at Sofia again, and you're going to hear some of these concepts again and again because our program and the courses are very structured to build on each other. The DBA is a practitioner and scholar program. It's designed to be completed in 3 years. And we know that for some people, they'll take summers off to be with their children. Not everyone will want to finish it in 3 years, but it's designed to be a compact, action-oriented, academically rigorous program so that at the end of year 1, you're actually writing the first draft of your global project and you're writing the first draft of your leadership development plan. You'll iterate those through the classes in year 2, and in year 2, you'll begin to do that again. And then in year 3, you'll be able to present those at the Sofia University Global Summit. So your ideas get traction, get legs. The second thing is, again, it's 54 credits of research and practical application. One of the things that we are really proud of is that this is a 4-credit program. So 4 credits per term allows you to be a full-time student. And it's really, again, for those of you who haven't had a chance to do a deep dive into what transpersonal psychology will look like, it really is a program that embeds the whole person in business. We know, for example, having been a healthcare executive for many years, I can tell you that although our minds are essential, it's important that we're able to do the financials for any new product, that at the same time, we need to also bring the relationships and the ability to build bridges with people and stakeholders from very unique and diverse perspectives. As I've said, this DBA program is a little bit different at Sofia. I happen to understand dissertations, and typically what happens in dissertations is that you're building your knowledge and your resources for the 2 to 3 years of your academic study, and then you begin to write. In this particular program with the DBA, we're looking for you to begin, as I said, to apply, pilot, fail brilliantly, take your learnings and iterate your process for the each year for the 3 years. Our program's designed so that it's both. There are 3 face-to-face sessions for one of the 3 courses every 10 weeks. So that gives the face-to-face interaction. And the other 2 courses are delivered online so that you're able to respond to them at your own schedule. We know you're incredibly busy, and so we've designed the program for very busy executives. Okay, and then the second set of features is that we're also able to provide a business integration practicum. And this allows us to serve eligible F1 students who require work authorization. We think this is a very robust element in our program and one that serves and really supports our global perspective. And so that is a course that we actually require of everyone because it's tied directly to the 2 content courses for each term. So for example, in this particular term, with our newest cohort, we're really exploring what is the impact of trust, and we're doing that through our BIP, our Business Integration Practicum. And then finally, the DBA provides ongoing opportunities for mentoring. And the mentoring comes from peers, from some of our business advisors, and also from the chair of the department. I feel very privileged to be able to meet on a regular basis and mentor the amazing students that are stepping into some of these global challenges. Okay, here comes the knit and the grit. As I've shared with you, 54 credits. It can be done in 3 years. It can be completed in 3 years. And I think it's interesting, and I would encourage you to take time to look through our web pages and think about the courses and compare them. If you're thinking about other programs, compare them. We want you to be thinking about, what do you need? What's important for your development? We think this is an incredibly innovative and unique program, but only you will make, excuse me, make those decisions. So in year 1, we're really focused on critical thinking and change. In year 2, we're thinking about organizations and how do we, so we move from the individual in the first year. The second year, we're talking about organizational transformation. And then the third year, you're making pitches. You're talking about your project. You're looking for your peers and your advisors to kind of poke holes in your thinking. Is this logical? Am I being creative enough? Am I stretching enough for possible solutions for the complex problem that I've chosen? And as I said, at the end of the third year, you've now iterated your business plan and your leadership development plan that allows your project to be sustainable in year 1. You've done it again in year 2. And by year 3, you're ready to present at the Global Summit. The professors, and I will admit to you that I have a bias. These are professors who did or continue. I'm just thinking, I think all of our faculty are still very much engaged in their jobs. The professors range from having fields. We have a psychology focus, we have a law and ethics focus, healthcare focus, technology focus, AI focus. So the faculty in and of themselves are bringing together very diverse perspectives, and are able to serve conversations, dialogue, pushing for innovation because of their backgrounds and their experiences. Here's the DBA consideration process. And as you go through this process here at Sofia, or probably in any university, you're going to be doing the technical work of filling out the application, of including the 3 references, of getting your transcript submitted. We're not interested in a GPA that you may have had 10 years ago or 15 years ago. We're interested in what have you been doing and where is your aptitude and attitude about change, making significant change in the world. You have a chance during the interview process with our admissions team, and then again with whoever interviews you for the program, to make a pitch. So in a way, this is the first iteration of your global initiative, and it's the first iteration of you thinking about, where are my leadership strengths? How is it that I'm equipped and ready to support my change project? So you're going to submit those in writing as part of your application. And then when you are actually interviewed, you're going to be making those pitches. You're going to share with whoever is interviewing you. And in many cases, I have the privilege of hearing these. You're going to talk about what complex issue you want to address in our world. And then the final step in the application process is the interview you have with the department chair. And in this case, as I said, I have the honor of hearing and having a chance to see the amazing work that's already been done, already underway from many of our students. So that's the process, pretty straightforward, not terribly different than most business programs, with 2 exceptions, and that's the pitch about the global issue you want to address. And by the way, we fully expect, if we're doing our job, that vision that you have is going to continue to change. We look forward to that. We hope you do too. People are always surprised in the first class when they say, "Oh, from the time I applied until I got in this class, and one of our first classes is on entrepreneurship, I've already changed." And it's like, yes, and your project will continue to change as you learn and as our world changes, because nothing is stagnant. Everything is on the move. So here's just a reminder of the two pitches that you're going to talk about a global challenge that really has captured your imagination. It could be something that you're working on now, or it could be a vision you hold from starting your own company, or it could be an outgrowth or a product line that you think is important for mobilizing a global team that might address that, for example. And then you're going to talk again about your own leadership strengths. Why are they strengths? What are you looking for to build on those? What do you know about yourself as a whole person? Um, and how are you going to bring that into this terminal degree? And so here's the last question, and it's the when question. And this is probably, of all of this information that we've given you, probably the most important. It's what are you going to do with your life next? What purpose have you identified and are you holding that really captures your imagination and your dedication, and you really want to continue to grow and contribute in our world in a unique way? We know that this DBA is very demanding. 54 credits in 3 years is a respectable amount of work. And where it takes you could be any of these opportunities here. Um, Executive business leadership, executive strategist, mobilizer of global teams, a consultant, an educator. There's probably no career that can't benefit from leaders who are aware of their own strengths, aware of how and when to mentor, and are able to coalesce change makers in order to make a difference. Those are the career outcomes and the dreams and the vision that come from this program. We think, don't we, that often we have to do this work alone. And one of the basic principles here at Sofia is we don't do anything alone, because we realize it takes all of us to come up with both the innovative ideas, the ideas that are disruptive, and we do so by sharing our strengths, by sharing our ideas. And so this begins to depict how we work. And then when you graduate from the program, how you'll continue to work, that lifelong learning component that I shared with you and told you about. Again, back to the value proposition. Here's what you're going to be looking for. Am I able to develop my own leadership? And I would say to you, yes. And we don't, we look at leadership as a very unique proposition. Each of us come with our own strengths, and there are strengths. And they develop from our background, our imagination, our dedication. And so the leadership is very tailored to the person. Complex challenge, we want to make a difference in the world. Sofia's done that for 50 years, and we want to continue that trend. We believe very deeply in that. And again, our commitment to community and mentoring. So here's the DBA investment. It's in change. And here are the best estimates that it demands from our program experience so far. 18 to 25 hours a week. So be thinking about your current work. Where and how will you leverage in another 18 to 25 hours a week? You're looking at 3 years, and it's for some people they'll take longer for very real, person-centered, transpersonal reasons. You're going to travel to one of our 2 campuses 3 times each term for face-to-face times. Usually our DBA program meets on Saturday mornings from 9:30 until 2:30, 3 times each term. We think our price point is very reasonable, but that's your decision to make. It's $51,300 plus our fees. And so We really believe that this makes it affordable and yet allows us to invest in the professors and the academic rigor that we think is very important. All of the faculty hold a passion for lifelong learning, and um, that's part of the legacy that we hand off to all of the students. And we also bring to it our 50-year history, as I mentioned, of transpersonal psychology. And I can't tell you um, what that means as part of building on what works, building on strengths, building on our capacity for making a difference, instead of tearing ourselves apart and tearing ourselves down. It's a very unique proposition. And as I said, this is business as unusual. This is not your usual DBA where you're going to independently work on a case study and give the right answers. You're often going to be working with your colleagues in the classes. You're often going to be responding to each other on discussions and deepening your understanding. That's just so critical that in the complex issues that we face in our world, that we use the best of the best. And we only do that if we're comfortable in our own strengths and we're able to share what we know and we're able to ask really great questions. So anyone who leaves this DBA program really knows how to ask powerful questions. We really hold the belief that you can't stand on the sidelines. We know sometimes taking a break and renewing is important, but these issues are so essential that you can't just be a bystander. We prepare you to jump in. Uh, we know that um, uh, this is a demanding process, as I said. You know, even adding another 25 hours to an already busy week shows that you're really taking the time to read the material, to look at the case studies, to engage in the inquiries and the discussions. And we also know that no one who does this regrets it, that they have really contributed already in engaging in a program such as this to addressing some of those complex issues we talked about. Those ripples really make a difference when we're looking at change. And of course, I love this slide because it really commits to you, as you think about Sofia, our team, the fact that we don't do things alone, the fact that there's the business office and the international student office, admissions, and you see most of our admissions team here with you this evening. And so as Roland sends these slides out to everyone who participates tonight, you'll have this information that's right in front of you. So before I answer questions, and I just want to end with this thought. You're already a leader. You wouldn't have come tonight unless you were thinking about, most likely, what's next for you and where you're going to leave a legacy, what's your purpose. And so the question that might emerge is, what else emerges when you deepen your understanding of yourself? The self that's so unique. No one else is like you. No one else can contribute to these solutions that we need so desperately. That we think that you're an authentic leader, and we're looking forward to being able to support that and to assist you to grow. Um, and so I would leave you with that. You become who you are, even more so. And we think that this is a program tailored for those individuals who wish to make lifelong learning a goal, who wish to address in thoughtful and creative ways the challenges that we have in front of us, and who are willing to be compassionate about self and also about others. So let me pause here. And as Rachel said, she's been tracking questions. We'll open up the floor and we'll see what questions people have. Rachel?
Yeah, thank you. I don't see any questions in the chat so far, and I know it's a lot to take in, so please take your time while you're thinking about those questions. In the meantime, I will send some important links in the chat. You can see the links of important deadlines of future quarters, CPT and OPT policies for international students, scholarship offerings, and curriculum requirement and catalog, so you can have something to refer back to. And this recording will be uploaded to our YouTube channel as well by our beloved marketing team. So in a few days, if you want to, come back and look at this recording again, you can find it on the YouTube channel as well. Oh, Dr. Chess, I think you're muted.
The bane of my existence, this microphone. Are we able to have the folks who've joined us tonight? Do you mind showing your faces and see if there's any questions? I know I'm putting you on the spot, and you might be eating dinner, and that's okay. Any questions? Oh, hey, Aubrey, how are you? This is one
Hi,
of our
how are you?
amazing faculty members. Thank you for coming tonight.
Yes, my pleasure.
Is there anything you'd like to add while our
Well,
guests catch their breath?
actually, I think for someone who's not who's just learning about Sofia, and you know, to know that Sofia has campuses around the globe is a great point. And I think I was curious, is there any opportunity that someone in the program could also study abroad or at least visit the other campuses? Would that be an option that might be available?
Aubrey, you must have been in some of our strategic meetings starting at 10 o'clock this morning. That's a great point. We have campuses not only in Costa Mesa and Palo Alto here in California, and certainly online, but we also have this program that's been unleashed in China. And so we were talking this morning about some of our colleagues from China who are just finishing up their first year. Some of them will be, I know, isn't that amazing, Rachel? They're finishing up their first year. They are interested in coming over here and studying for at least a term or two, maybe even longer. And so that's sort of being able to look at those opportunities of moving around the globe. And then our president, Dr. Humphreys, is actually also going to be exploring an emerging partnership with Vietnam. So we have, as you've said, Aubrey, some opportunities for global movement and participation in areas outside of California.
That's wonderful.
Great. How about some of our guests? Have we left you with questions?
Yeah, I think we have a student asking in the Q&A section, do we have scholarship opportunities for the program?
Rachel, may I give that to you? Are you our we do have scholarships, but are you our expert?
Yes, we do have scholarship offerings. You can see the link.
Great. Thank you.
Rachel, you're on mute.
Oh, you don't even, I was just saying you can see in the link in the chat and you can see all the scholarship offerings. And you don't even have to decide at the beginning of the program because you have up to a year to decide what program you would like, what scholarship you would like to apply for. And we have a wonderful scholarship committee that is very accessible and responsive. If you have any questions about that, you can just feel free to shoot an email.
So I'm going to put both of you on the spot because this is how we engage. What brought you to this conversation tonight? Is it, I think we have two guests. Are either of you courageous and want to step into one of our principals at Sofia to say, what brought you tonight to this conversation, to share dinner with us or tea? Well, go ahead. I know you're both not that reserved. Juan, may we start with you? Do you mind? What brought you to this tonight? Oops, still on mute.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi there. So what brought me to here tonight is I finished my MBA program recently, and I decided I was just not done with the academic side of my life. I found during the MBA more than finance, more than strategy and operations classes. I found like a very introspective version of myself. And I just heard, a couple of colleagues' reviews about the program, told me about how they kind of developed a new vision of what kind of leaders they wanted to become in the future during this program, and that is certainly one of the drivers for me joining the session tonight.
Oh, Juan, thank you so much. That is certainly a goal that we hold out. That introspection, those pauses to think about. So, what's the change I want to make, or where is my next development opportunity? That's very much a part of I think our organizational DNA is how I call it. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Of course, thank you for having us.
Yeah. And Indrayani, am I saying your name correctly? Would you mind sharing with us, if you feel comfortable, why tonight? Why are you here? Hi.
Hi, am I visible now? I was just
You
checking the
are.
demo. Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. So, the main goal coming here today during my dinner time is currently I'm working with JP Morgan Chase, and previously I was part of uh, MBA academic program in Northeastern University, Boston, Massachusetts. After that, I joined Chase a year ago, and currently I'm planning to shift to California with my fiance. I'm getting married. That's the thing. So I just want to uh, broaden my horizon in management field because I still didn't get the opportunity to be a leader in the JP Morgan Chase, and I'm just looking forward for that.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations, by the way. Not only are you moving to a beautiful part of the United States, but
Yeah.
congratulations on your upcoming marriage. That's lovely. Great. Great. And I think you're wise to be thinking at this time about, so what's next and what does it mean to be a leader? How does
hmm
that differ from management? That's a very wise place to be sitting in wonder and curiosity.
hmm I
Nice.
was part of leadership team back in India when I was working. I almost worked 8 9 years.
Hmm.
In that journey, I was team lead. That's why I chose an MBA here in US for my masters. It was pretty difficult for me after working 8 9 years in corporate. I took the decision to take MBA, and again, I am trying to do that because uh, I wanted to be a leader, but honestly speaking, at that time, pandemic hit, and I didn't get the opportunity which I was expecting in 2020. So I decided to pursue my master's. That's the honest opinion on
Hmm.
this. But it turned out great. I got my job here in JP Morgan, so I'm pretty happy. But still, I'm trying to get the knowledge in Master of Business
Nice.
Administration. So let's see.
Great, great. Well, I'm so glad you joined us tonight and took time
Yeah.
from your day. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Are there any other questions that we can answer? As Rachel said, we know we gave you so much information, and my apologies for having my voice disappear midway. I just am so delighted to have both of you with us this evening. We're just honored to have your presence here. Are there any other questions we might answer, or any process that you're thinking about that we could help with?
I just have one more question regarding
Please.
the timelines. Uh, as I'm doing the job, I was looking forward for CPT program so that I can uh, continue my job. So it's just a timeline. The next cohort is in January, I guess. So can we have another second cohort in the 2025? Can you provide that information if it is possible?
Yes, you can actually click on the first link in the chat. You can
Okay.
see important deadlines of future quarters. The next quarter after winter quarter will be the spring 2025, and then the next will be summer 2025. That starts in July. The spring quarter will start on April. You can work out if that works for your timeline.
Okay.
And for the application, you can just submit application. And when the application is submitted and we have all the required documents, we'll arrange an interview with Dr. Chess. And if everything goes well, we can let you know the admission result in around 3 business days.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Rachel, you just roll into 2025 like a pro. I'm still trying to figure out how to wrap up 24. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I like to plan early.
Well, I want to thank all of you and the amazing support team from marketing and from admissions for being with us and supporting the questions tonight. I'll just leave you with a thought. And this is a proverb that is an ancient proverb. It's not Sophia's, but it means a lot to us in the business. If you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go in good company. So we're grateful that you're thinking about our good company. We are delighted to offer you that good company. And thank you for considering us. And we wish you good discernment in your process of thinking what's next for you to make a change in the world. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And as Rachel said, we'll get these slides posted to Facebook, right?
YouTube as well.
Okay, great. And so you can look for that or just ping us with questions. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Hope we can see you in the future at Sophia.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you for joining us.